Hmm. Yeah, so we've been looking into the question of who this Andrei Ivanovich guy is for quite a while. Really, ever since the original SBU intercepted calls back on the day after MH17, and then especially in September 2016 when the Dutch investigation team published a call for witnesses asking for information about both Nikolai Fedorovich, no, Delphine is what he goes by, and Andrei Ivanovich, or Arion, I guess is what he went by. Though we aren't sure if he actually was called Orion there, but he did go by Andrei Ivanovich at least. Um, and so since for about 2 years now, well, since September 2016, we've really been looking into it, and we figured out Delphine, the Nikolai Fedorovich guy, is Nikolai Fedorovich Chachov, who was a semi-retired Russian general. We published that a few months ago. And then we've also been working with The Insider, which is a Moscow-based investigative unit that's led by Roman Dobrholtov, a little bit with McClatchy's in D.C. as well. Uh, the Insider, yeah, it's a Moscow-based investigative team. Yeah. They are not in the military, as far as I know. If so, I would need to know right really quickly. But okay, okay, I understand. Yeah, he's traveling. Yeah. He's in the Netherlands, last I heard. But anyways, so we've been working on investigation for quite a while, working with Roman, and so we do kind of the open source part of the investigation. Roman's been doing a little bit open source as well, but a lot of more traditional, so-called traditional investigative journalism. And the reason why we found a lot of this information is we were looking into phone numbers and tracking phone numbers. So in the original SBU published call, they listed the phone number of Ariel, this Andrei Ivanovich guy. It was from Life, I think, kind of like the kind of thing you can like buy in a kiosk and you can throw it away, right? Disposable SIM card, right? And I think I don't remember exactly who. Maybe it was Roman or Christo. One of the two worked with investigative journalists in uh, Ukraine to get some phone records to see some of the outgoing calls from this number that Andrei Ivanovich used. And one of the numbers was there were four Russian numbers, if I recall correctly. And we looked at all these numbers, and we're looking at all these databases. So there are a bunch of online databases that do phone that track phone numbers. So, sorry, hold on, it's kind of loud. Yeah, sure. Yeah, so uh, so we looked at some online kind of open source databases of phone numbers. So there's one called Truecaller, and there's a few others as well. So what these services do is you add the app to your phone or whatever, and what it does, either with your knowledge or against your knowledge, one way or the other, it scoops up your contact information in your contact book in your phone. And so all the phone numbers that whoever adds this app have in their phone book are uploaded to this public database. So it's kind of scary. It's like kind of like Cambridge Analytica almost, some of the stuff they do. Uh, but some of the numbers that were used, one was Orion, right, was a number that was listed for there. And there's another one, phone number that was listed under a couple names. One was Ivanikov, which gave us an idea that maybe the guy's family name is Ivanikov. And also Ivanikov, yeah, two N's, Ivan Nikov. And the other one with another phone number that was called by the SBU release number back in July 18, 2014, was listed as under Ivanovich Gyaru Ot Khasky. So Khasky, we were wondering, for well, the most famous Khasky, like it's a dog, right? Right. So for a while, we thought Khasky referred to this rapper from St. Petersburg who had gone to the DNR. He had done a concert in Donetsk or something like that. So we were, and I think he's friends with like Prilyep, I think. So we were thinking to ourselves, Zakhar Prilyepin, who has his own military unit in Donetsk. He's in the Praha Hotel in Donetsk, and he's very close with Zakharov. So we were thinking, oh, maybe when Husky did his concert in Donetsk, this guy talked to this guy and got the contact information, right? But we followed up on that, and that wasn't the case. That's not true. But then we did a little bit more, and it turned out that Husky is a reconnaissance unit. So they do like intelligence work and special projects with the DNR. So we realized it was Ot Husky wasn't Ot as in like he's from this group, but Ot as in I received this information, Ot Husky. So somebody in this Husky group gave the phone number of Andrei Ivanovich to somebody. So in their phone, like for example, if you meet someone at a party, right? You write Andrei Ivanovich from party, right? You know, where you heard it from, right? So in this person's contact list, they put Andrei Ivanovich GRU, so another GRU, Od Chesky, meaning this is Andrei Ivanovich in the GRU, and I got this information from Chesky. Like, that's what they put in their phone book on their phone. And when they added this app, one of these contact apps, that information got sucked up and put online, which is how we found it. Yeah, exactly. Yes, we included all this in the report. Yes. Uh, Off the top of my head, not really, but we just kept on following all these leads because we did this over months and months and months. We found every possible lead, and we found Oleg Ivanovich months and months and months. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, we did most of the work over the last 3 or 4 months, but we, got a little bit. Yeah, since more or less we've done most of it this year. But we we're digging into this before this as well. Um, so, anyways, we kept digging and digging and digging, and this Ivanikov was probably one of the best clues. And we looked at this phone number that listed on Ivanikov, and we found information about Oleg Vladimirovich Ivanikov. That was in a public database with this phone number. And we keep searching and searching, and we found that there are two Oleg Ivanikovs in Moscow. There's one who is kind of a famous guy, semi-famous, who has an NGO, who has nothing to do with them. I think he may have served in the military, but he's just like an NGO guy. He's not at all related to GRU or Ukraine. And there's another Oleg Ivanikov, who on 2009, I believe, or 2008, 2009, he got a dissertation and he wrote about South Ossetia, Abkhazia, information environments. He was very familiar with it, and also he wrote a lot of articles about anti-aircraft missile systems and things that he clearly was very knowledgeable. Yes, he knows. Yes, exactly. And so we kept on following this up, and eventually we got his phone number. We called up and we got his voice, and his voice was the same as the one in those intercepted phone calls that the JIT published. And we also kept following and following and following links, and we eventually found out this Oleg Ivanikov was in South Ossetia, where he from 2004 or so to 2008, and he was the Minister of Defense of South Ossetia. But he was Minister of Defense not as Oleg Ivanikov, but he was Minister of Defense as Andrei Ivanovich Laptev. Again, yes, he worked under the name Andrei Ivanovich Laptev, Laptev. Laptev. Laptev, yeah, Laptev. So he worked, that wasn't his real name, obviously, but he used the pseudonym Andrei Ivanovich both in South Ossetia and later in Ukraine. So we found quite a few. We talked to people from South Ossetia, like, is this the guy? We showed a picture in the voice of Ivanikov, and they're like, oh yeah, that's him. That's Laptev. So, go ahead. All right, very long answer to your question. It was pretty one-sided. We sent them information as we came to it, but obviously they have all their bureaucratic and legal restrictions. So we sent all the information we received. We send to them because it's much more important that they are correct than us. Because if we're wrong, it's no big deal. If they're wrong, then it's much more important, right? So a lot of information. Obviously, at one point at least, they had no idea who this Orion guy was because they put out a public. He was important enough and difficult enough to find information about that they publicly asked. They held their first ever press conference asking for help about this guy. So obviously, he was important. We sent the progress of our investigation as we went along because we didn't want to, make them. We don't want to surprise them too much, right? So we sent everything, and they would say, thank you, right? But it's very one-sided. We send them stuff, but they don't really send stuff back, other than thank you, right? Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. So they have everything, and I know it's we don't want to surprise them too much because we want to give them time to do their own because they have access to a lot more information than we do because they have. I think that the SBU they provided 15 million phone calls to the JAT, so they have access to lots of information. So we don't want to surprise them. We want to make sure that they know we're not secret. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Well, yeah. We there's not a whole lot left with MH17. There are some things, for example, if you listen to the intercepted phone calls, there are a few other people we'd like to know about. For example, they talk about Grupo Bibliotecar, who did a lot of stuff. And I have no idea who this Bibliotecar guy is, the librarian. It's very mysterious. Because in the phone calls, on one hand, they refer to him as a person, and other times they refer to a group, group of the Bibliotecar, and other times. So who knows if it's one person or if it's a group that one guy leads. He's very important, and we've looked and looked and looked and looked, and I not even start to research for that because there's nothing about him anywhere. And plus, Biblioteca are so broad; it's hard to know. There are a few other individuals, but for the most part now, we would maybe look a little bit more into the 53rd Brigade, into some of the individuals there, but we've already done years and years of research on them. I'm not sure how much more we can find. Yes, yes, yes. So right now it's especially hoping that the JIT is plenty of information, and we hope that yesterday in their press conference they asked for help from 50 people. No, no, no. They asked the public for help. They asked specifically about people from Kursk, the family members and friends and members of the 53rd Brigade, to come to them with information. Yeah. So we hope that that's the gives them a break. Let's hope. Sure thing. Yeah, it's good to talk to you. All right, thanks, Vadim. Yeah, thanks. Okay, bye.